Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. I am Saffanah Hilyah Dienie with ID number student 014. Here I will present the result of my analysis. And the book I used to analyze is the English student's book, My Next Words for Elementary School, 4th grade. And in this presentation, there are four aspects that I get and look for from this textbook. For the first aspect is material aspect, which is material aspect is the learning material present in the textbook. Material criteria must be specific, clear, accurate, and up to date in terms of publication. And the information present doesn't contain bias. Vocabulary, sentence structure, paragraph length, and level of interest according to students' interest and cognition. Quotations of songs, poems, or discourses taken from other authentic sources and referenced sources are given. Illustration must match the text, and the details of the material must be in accordance with the curriculum. The completeness of the material is indicated by the existence of discourse, understanding of discourse, fact of linguistics, and also literature and application. For the next slide, material as still in material aspect, which the material aspect in this book have been made a specific, clear, accurate, and up to date in terms of publication. And also here there is the introduction that in the introduction I get a sentence that I I think that uh, up to date and also clear and also accurate to the level of this textbook, yeah. And this introduction I see that my next words was developed with in this book. My next word there is this textbook was developed with a model that initiates contextual language recognition through the appropriate teacher's language or instruction. It is hoped that each activity in the early stage will attract the attention of students, then followed by practice guided so that students are confident and you followed by exercises using the language more freely by students. And beside that, we see here the teacher's book that there is the procedure activity, how language to say, and also that include in the one of aspect that language aspect uh, in the next slide moment. For the next slide is the information in this textbook have no bias meaning. Vocabulary, sentence structure, paragraph length, and level of interest according to the student's interest and cognition. And according to me, this is so uh, this very nice for elementary student, which is the the word and the vocabulary and the sentence structure and the paragraph length, and of course level of interest student that make students interest and spirit to study about this textbook. For the next slide is Quotations such as a songs or discourse contained in this book don't provide example of other authentic source. Only reference source are given and placed at the end of the page, namely in the namely is in the bibliography, or sometimes we say it by references. And the illustrations in this textbook are in accordance with the text. Very accordance. We can see at the middle picture that the text is very accordance with the picture, with the illustration, which is the bathroom, dining room, kitchen, bedroom, living room, and the second bedroom. And for the next slide is aspect of presentation of the material. Presentation of the material places students as learning subjects so that their descriptions are supported by activities that are able to shape student learning independence. For example, with the extent of independence tax, independent tax, the presentation of the material is interactive and participatory, which motivates students to be mentally and emotionally involved in achieving SK and KD, so that students are motivated to learn comprehensively about various linguistic and literary issues. And you can see here in this textbook, I get several criteria from this aspect, such as the material is very interesting for students to learn. There are several presentation of learning material that are sequential but incomplete, including table of contents, chapter, material, exercise, conclusion, references, and index. And for this textbook, I don't get the conclusion of the material, and also index, because I think why it doesn't in the textbook, because this still elementary, that this book um, more focus in how to make the students understand with the material in this textbook. And for the next, here is the table of content of this textbook, and here also the chapter or unit. This is I just take some of unit, because uh, truly many unit in this textbook, but I just take it I just take 3 unit for I show to you. And here the material. In this material, you can see the material use um, a simple word, a simple vocabulary, and also the illustration. I think that's very interesting for student elementary school. And for the next is the exercise. They are the exercise of this textbook. And for the next is the references, which is when we need to get another information or additional information, we can see uh, at the Google with the link have put in the references at the textbook. And for the next aspect, language aspect. Language aspect is a means of conveying and presenting material such as vocabulary, sentence, paragraph, and discourse. The language used to explain concepts or applications of concepts or illustrations to abstract examples is in accordance with the intellectuality of students, which can be imaginatively imagined by students. The language used is in accordance with the social emotional emotional maturity of students, with illustrations that depict concepts ranging from the closest local environment to the global environment. And the readability level of the language of the text can be seen from the length of the sentence, the length of the word, and the prevalence of diction according to development of the language of the students. It needs to be in accordance with the level of education and age of the student in general. And for the next, in this slide, the language used in this textbook is to explain concepts or applications of concepts or illustration to abstract example in accordance with the intellectual abilities of students that can be imaginatively imagined by students, and the language used according to the level of education and age of the student. And you can see here the language used here is, and the language used in this textbook, it is very affordable for elementary school, moreover in the fourth grade. And the interaction in the exercise, in the material also, it's very simple word that can very simple to understand for student. And the next slide is graphic aspect. The graphic aspect is a very important aspect in a book because it can affect the reader's understanding and impression of the contents of the book. The use of appropriate and attractive graphics will make the reader more interested in reading the textbook. And in addition, using the right graphics also includes using appropriate colors and avoiding using graphics that are difficult to understand or irrelevant to the contents of the book. All of this will help readers to understand the contents of the book better. And in this slide, there are several graphic in this textbook, such as the graphic of the cover that mm, make student interest, and for the exercise and the material also, the illustration and the drawing, it's also make make student to easily to understand what the instruction, or to understand what picture that, and what the material in that page. And also the exercise is the graph and the chart. I think that's very makes student easily to understand instruction or something to do for the students. I think that all my explanation about my analysis in in books my next word for elementary books, English language, elementary school, fourth grade. And if there is some mistakes from my speech, I apologize to you all. And the last I say you thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.